We're live. Day 4. Man, this has been so much fun. Hey guys, we're live, but it's a couple minutes before 11. So we are going to just stand by for a minute and we just welcome you guys as you're popping on live. Man, we're so excited at how many people have been on live and on the replays on the videos the last 3 days, and the messages that we've received and all of that. It's just been amazing. This has been so much fun for us, guys. It's been awesome that we get to take 10, 12, 15 years of journey and discovery and just condense it down and give it to you guys. It's been awesome. And so we're not going to jump into 11, which is less than a minute away. But
since we've got a minute or so, do you want to make a couple of the banners just for a couple of key points real quickly?
Sure. You know, I didn't do that much of that today. Man.
Yeah, we've been pretty much like working, day to day on each of these slides and stuff, and they've just kind of been coming together organically.
Yeah.
A lot of the night before and stuff. So we're just literally like working around the clock on these. So,
and we wanted it that way. We wanted to really give you guys something real and something raw, and not just, not something, I guess, canned or just. We've figured that people might comment things, and we're just like, ooh, that's a good direction to go. So it's been a lot of fun. Well, I believe that it's 11, and I'm going to start. We've got a couple of people here with us live, and I know a lot of people will pop in. So welcome, guys. Welcome. As always, guys, if you're here joining us live today, go ahead and give us a hashtag live in the comments. And for those of you who are going to be joining us on the replay, welcome. Whenever you tune in, welcome. You're here with us. Give us a hashtag replay in the comments, and we are just so excited that you guys are here. Today is a really, 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 really awesome day. And a lot of you guys know that we said at the beginning that on day 4, we were going to be telling you all about SEOAD Elite, and we are. And I've got a shorter, quicker, not lesson, whatever you want to call it. I've got a topic that I want to discuss with you that's super duper important today. Before I get there, we just want to say that the last 3 days have been so awesome for us, and we hope they have been for you too. We've been able to speak from our hearts, speak from our experience, speak from our journey, speak what we've been through for the last decade and a half and what we've learned along the way. We've been sharing information, stories, and analogies with you that have impacted us and our lives significantly, and our thinking significantly, and ultimately our businesses and our results significantly. And we hope that they've given you a lot of value too. Above all, we just hope that at least one thing that we said has really given you an aha or a light bulb moment, that wherever your bullseye is, we hope that one thing has at least just hit that thing right on the nose. And so please let us know in the comments if there's just been one big takeaway for you this week, or at least your biggest takeaway so far. If you want to drop that in the comments, not only do we love to see it because it just makes us feel awesome, but maybe somebody else would also just say, oh, I missed them saying that. That's awesome. That's super helpful, guys. We're a community here in the SEOAD group, and this community has been pivotal in mine and Greg's life, and I think so many people too. So share, because it helps everybody. So don't be afraid to speak up. Just give us your biggest takeaway. And guys, I want to say this: we're all at different places in our own lives, in our businesses, and in our online marketing journey. Just showing up to something like this can position you to hear the one thing right now that you need to hear. The one thing that's missing, the one thing that hasn't clicked, the one light bulb aha moment can come from showing up to things like this. That's even true with live events. People will pay $2,000 for a conference ticket, buy a round trip plane ticket, pay for several nights in a hotel, buy meals and Uber rides. It's not every single thing necessarily that's said at that conference that changes them, helps them, and moves their needle for them. It's really usually a lot of times It's one thing, it's one conversation, it's one interaction, one takeaway, one statement in one story that somebody told in one of the sessions that just hits right where you are and moves the needle and makes everything fall into place better for you, that then you go and you double, triple, quadruple, and even more your revenue and your income in the coming year, in the next year. And so often it's those moments like that that are transformative. It's not usually the totality of everything. There's kind of something for everyone, but when you show up, we believe that you're going to get one thing that will help you, at least one thing that will have that big of an impact on you. And so with that said, guys, we commend you for showing up to these calls, both live and on the replays. We thank you, and we hope that what we've shared with you this week from our hearts has made an impact. And so before we jump in, I want to make one more observation. I said this like on day one or last week when we were announcing that we were going to go live each week. This has been a crazy year. Above many of the things that it's been a noisy year. It's been a year where, with coronavirus, with all the media around that and the people talking about that on social, there's just been so much about that. It's been an election year. There's been so much political from the news outlets and from people talking. It's been people have been home. People have been scared. They've been posting about it. They've had the time. It has just been a loud, noisy year. The airwaves have just been flooded with.
And then to add to the frustration, just the masks when you go out, it's like on top of all the other noise and BS.
Yep. It's just been so much going on. And so this is even like one more thing. The last month and a half or so, I keep my email cleaned out like all the time. I have a Mac. I keep the Mac email client open all the time. And every time I get an email, I deal with it. I keep my inbox clean. I keep my photos clean. I have to clean out my junk mail multiple times a day. I feel like the airwaves all around us are just full of noise right now. And so I wanted to say this right now. Let's just focus. Focus in, take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out. Let's just embrace this moment. Let's embrace this next 30 minutes to an hour. Let's just block out all the noise, everything that's happening around us, and be very, very present in this call, in this moment of time, and for the next little bit. So let's just focus in right now as we go and talking about the power of your why. And guys, this is going to be shorter today because the last 3 days we've had so many notes that we've just talked until we hit the hour mark, and we could share day after day after day indefinitely all the things we've learned. But today I have a goal to give you one tool to tap into your why. And I want to talk about why that is absolutely not just very important, it's mission critical. It's absolutely necessary. Without it, your chances of success are extremely low unless you just happen to strike gold in your backyard. And I really mean that. And so your why is powerful. You can give somebody the greatest blueprint and strategy and tactics in the world, but if they don't take action, then it's just good information. It's good wisdom, but it's not going to do anything. If wisdom and good information alone made millionaires, guys, the world would be absolutely full of millionaires. But the one thing that will separate you from everyone else is, with the same information, is action. And the one thing that is going to help you continue to take action until you succeed, and then continue to succeed and continue to grow and continue to build, is your why. Your why is at the core of everything. Everything. The mindset that we've talked about, the strategy that we've talked about, It all is fueled out of your why at the core of your being. And so I want to dive into that today. You can't start your business and your pursuit of success from what and how, because 999 times out of 1,000, you'll quit, you'll give up, you'll throw in the towel, you'll walk away, you'll say this isn't for me, you'll say I can't do it, you'll say this isn't going to work out. And I've shared a few things from the Bible because of my background as not only a minister but a Christian as well. There's such a powerful story in the Bible that just says a castle that's built on sand will not last. It won't stand the test of time. It won't go the distance. When the winds come, when the waves come, when the rain comes, it's going to crumble and fall apart. What and how are moving targets. They change over time. They evolve. They aren't stable enough to build on. You must start with your why. You must build everything that you do here forward on your why. When your why is strong, your language isn't I need to, I want to, I'm interested in, I've been thinking about, I'd like to, it'd be nice if. When your why dominates everything that you do, your language is I have to. I have to. Everything in me has to do this. Everything in me has to get to the finish line, and I will not quit. I will not stop putting one foot in front of the other until I cross the finish line. Your why is powerful, and that's why this is called the power of your why. This is a quote I want to share from Simon Sinek. He's amazing. He just puts things in such incredible perspective. Most of us live our lives by accident. We live as it happens. Fulfillment comes when we live life on purpose. Guys, I've spent most of my life just waking up for the day, prepared at best just to handle whatever the day throws at me. But the last 3 or 4 years, my life has transformed to where I wake up and I tell today where we're going. I tell today what it's going to look like. Once you discover your why, you're going to be better able to align your beliefs with every choice and every action that you take in order to find greater fulfillment in all that you do. Purpose, fulfillment are very core attributes of your why. And we're going to drill down in a little bit, and we're going to find out that no matter what you say you want to do this for, it really comes down to those things and a few others. So today, I want to share one simple tool with you to help you drill down to your why. It's an exercise that you can do with yourself, or you can do with a close group of people. I would recommend if you do it with somebody, do it with somebody you trust. Because guys, I'm going to tell you, this will get a little bit heavy and a little bit intense, but it's just raw and it's real. And it can get very real very fast. But here's the truth. Too often we go for years and years without dealing with our internal issues. And so often there are things that we aren't even aware of, but those things affect every decision that we make. They affect everything that we do. They cause us to make decisions and we don't even know why. I tried my best to come up with some examples, but all of our experiences in life are just so unique that my examples don't even scratch the surface. But this tool will help you to get there, to keep drilling down to the center and the core of your, my notes. There we go. They'll help you drill down to your why, to the core of everything. And so here's the tool, very simple. Just keep asking yourself why. And when you answer it, just ask yourself why again. And when you answer it, ask yourself why again. If you've ever been around a kindergartner, why? That's used on the playground in a form of mockery. But seriously, keep drilling down deeper in your answers to the question why. So let me just walk through these examples. And again, guys, they barely scratch the surface. if I were to ask someone, what is your why? I want to make more income. I need to make more money. I want to build wealth. Well, why? So I can quit my job. So I can supplement the money that I make from my job. Maybe so that my spouse, my partner, can not work and come home and take care of our kids. Or we've got a lot of debt to pay off, bad decisions, past life, student debt, medical debt. I want to provide more for my family, for my children, for myself. I want to help my parents or a sibling or a family member or a loved one. Okay. Why? Well, I don't want to be at a 9-to-5 my whole life because I don't make enough money at my job, because it would take me 30 years to pay off my debt at the rate that I'm going. Okay, all that makes sense, but let's keep going. Why? Well, if I'm working at a job, I'm not free. I'm trapped. I'm stuck. If I have debt, I'm trapped. I'm crushing under the weight of money that I owe that I don't have. I can't breathe. I just want to be free. Keep asking why at this point. It may hurt, but you'll keep progressing down to the root. You know, those answers like I need time and money freedom so that I can travel the world. Because when I was a kid, my family only took 2 vacations ever in my whole life. I've always wanted to see the world, and I've hardly been anywhere. I've never even left the country. I've never been able to do anything because I've been trapped at a job, barely getting by. I want to own my time. My dad growing up could never be at anything. He was never at a baseball game. He was never at a basketball game. He never came to a school play. He never came to career day where our parents talked about a career because he was unable to because of his job, because he was providing. You just keep asking why, guys. There's some heavy stuff that could come up. I had an abusive parent. One of my parents walked out on us. We lost it all. My whole world came crashing down. I lost a parent. Nobody was there for me. I was neglected. I grew up in a broken home. I was a broke trailer park kid with no lunch money. I had to sit at the table and watch other kids eat and go hungry. I was the butt of every joke. I was adopted, and I was never able to find peace. And I know this gets a little heavy, but listen, these things are going to drive your decisions, whether you deal with them or not. When you don't deal with them, you're going to make bad decisions. You're going to make decisions out of fear, and you're never going to know why you do that. But when you do deal with them, you're going to make decisions out of determination that I'm going to get there and nothing's going to hold me back. So often at the very, very, very core, I was there and I never want to be in that place again. I never want my kids to experience that. I never want to treat my friends that way. I never want to treat my partner that way. I never want anyone else to feel that way. I never want anyone else to know what it's like to be hungry or thirsty, or for everyone else around them to have everything that they want, and for them to ask, how come I never have anything? I want to feed people so they never feel that way. I want to build an orphanage so that kids never have to feel that way. I want to invest and be able to foster kids so they never feel the way that I felt, so that people never feel unstable the way that I felt, so people never feel like they have no control over their life the way that I felt. Guys, you got to keep drilling down and deal with the things that are at the very core of your being. And I told you, these examples were just my best attempt through my own experience and through the people that I've had the pleasure of working with in ministry and through entrepreneurs. I know that some of you have been through some stuff. Some of you just were born into rotten luck. And I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry that was your experience. And I'm telling you that no matter how low it may feel that you started, that can have no bearing on what you can do and you can achieve in your life. If you will deal with it, find a powerful why that will fuel you to take action until you succeed. And so with that, guys, again, I know that can get a little heavy, that can get a little intense, but I really like to call it can just get a little bit real, because I would just rather be real than fake any day. And so what and how are like building a castle on sand, not a firm foundation. Anything built on these is going to fall. Your why is the most powerful tool that you have. It will get you there. It'll get you across the finish line. It makes dreams realities. It makes people achieve the impossible. Things that some people say, you can't even do that. A powerful why is how that becomes a reality. It keeps you putting one foot in front of the other no matter what obstacles and what challenges come your way. You have to find your why. You have to do this before you do anything else. Don't go build another site until you find your why. When you have a powerful why, nobody will tell you that you have to do it. Nobody will tell you that you've got to get up early, that you've got to stay up late. It will all come naturally and authentically. Embrace who you are. In spite of all the rotten luck in the world, in spite of everything that's ever happened to you, embrace who you are. You are unique. Your mark on this world is unique. Your experiences are unique, and they are going to help people that maybe only you can help. There's really no middle ground. Either the things that are in you are going to hold you back, or you're going to deal with them and they're going to spur you forward. There's just really no middle ground, because if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards, because the world's moving forward and you're still, which is still backwards progress. There's no middle ground. I don't know how else to say it. There's no middle ground, and you just got to deal with stuff so that you can move forward with an authentic why that will get you there. And I had just one example of a rocket ship. When it's on the ground, though, man, the flames come out and all thousands of tons of thrust happen before that thing even starts to barely leave the ground. But the same amount of thrust continues to create more and more momentum to get something that was sitting still and barely lifting a few feet off the ground faster and faster and faster. And that same amount of thrust, once you get into outer space, can get that shuttle up to hundreds and then thousands of miles an hour. Your why is that consistent thrust that will get you from still and nowhere. And even though it takes a while maybe to get here, if that why keeps that thrust consistent, before you know it, you'll be out of the atmosphere, moving along fast and getting faster by the day, especially with the strategy that we teach. And we've already shared a lot about that. Your why will do this. And that's all that I want to share, because I'd rather you take that to heart and kind of do it than me share other people's stories and a lot more analogies. I would rather you just take that and actually do it. I think there's so much more authenticity and realness in that than trying to keep going. And so I want to just give you a digestible, doable nugget instead of trying to show you why the whole gold mine is so awesome. Does that make sense? If that's tracking with you guys, just post something in the comments, just hashtag yes, or wow, thank you so much, or
hashtag go. Hashtag
no. Guys, if you've dealt with something personal, if you're confident and comfortable to share what you've been through, it probably will help somebody else that's in the same boat as you are. And I don't have that story to share. That's not my life. That's your life, and you have the opportunity to impact someone else. Greg, before I kind of move on, I know I kind of had the notes on this here, but if there's anything you'd like to add, let me know before we kind of.
It's hard to add something to that or follow that. That's pretty good. But yeah, it got me thinking of just little things in my life, and what initially got me to think about this is a acquaintance of mine. His name's Gregory Ortiz, and I remember I don't really follow or watch a lot of posts and stuff on social media and stuff, but somehow a couple of years ago, I just happened to catch this video. He was walking through. At the time he had I think it was a $10,000 a month 3-story penthouse in Miami, and he started out in the same SEO community that I was in, and he was more broke than me, and quickly got up to making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And so he got this penthouse in Miami, and so he was doing a kind of a walkthrough, just like 3 floors. It even had its own private pool and stuff, and that was really cool. And he didn't have a lot of stuff though, and he opened this closet, and it was just filled with blue jeans. And the reason was, the story he told was when he was in junior high, he only was able to have one pair of blue jeans. And it was so painful because he got joked, and like, when you're growing a lot as you get older, if you only have one pair of jeans or pants per school season or per year, and then kids are kind of mean. I remember, me and Tyler went to the same junior high. It was basically like prison, and it sucked. And it was, they separated us and put a cage around us. It was a horrible kind of environment. But, and I remember I was in a similar situation with, my parents didn't make a lot of money. So I got maybe 1-2 pair of pants in a year. And if they were riding up on my legs because I was growing, then it's just something I had to deal with, with the other kids that were, their parents would buy them pants that fit better, that were better brands and things like that. Or I was never the kid that got a new pair of shoes every school season and stuff, but there were kids that got new pairs of shoes every single year. I usually had to make mine last for 2 or 3 years, and basically until they wore out. My parents wouldn't just buy me a new pair of shoes just because it's a new school season. I remember the most my parents would ever spend on a shoe would like it was $50. So at JCPenney's, we could go and get like the least cool pair for $49.99, because like everything was more expensive. All the cool stuff was way more expensive. Even back then, like just like the not coolest Jordans were like over $100, and my parents were like, that's ridiculous. And so it's not always like expensive things that are the most painful memories, but it's those little things that you got joked about, or you had to just live through for years. And, when you're a kid, every single day of junior high, if you get kind of joked or just the fear of being joked, every day seems like basically 2020. You have to live through that whole school year. And the junior high we went to, it was 7th and 8th grade. So we got 2 whole years of that. So like the same people, and, every year after year, me and Tyler had a couple of our friends, their parents made a lot more money, and one guy in particular who always had like, it just seemed unfair. He didn't really try too hard, and he always had like the newest of everything. Tyler played, more video games than me, but this guy had like all the games, which is unheard of when we were a kid, because those games were expensive. But this guy, his parents were much older and they had a lot of money, so they could just afford to spoil him. But we never had that luxury. So going back to the Gregory Ortiz story, I just thought that was funny because he's, he made all this money, and the way he kind of, what he did for himself was, it didn't matter that he was living in this amazing 3-story penthouse in Miami. What was the most special part of that to him was his closet full of like 20 pairs of jeans. And he's like, I'll always have enough blue jeans now. And that was the only thing that he cared about, because it was the most painful memory. And now he can buy as many as he wants. So a lot of times when you get to the root of your why and things that you kind of want to make right, they're not always like super expensive things. If you can just, like, silly thing that I've mentioned to Tyler over the years is, like Lunchables. Were things that I may have only had like 3 or 4 in my entire childhood, but that was a really popular item. And my parents would never buy those hardly in the store, because they're like, it doesn't make sense. They're expensive, and we can just go get a loaf of bread and meat and stuff. You can make your own sandwiches if you want to take your lunch. We're not going to pay for these Lunchables. And I don't know how much, I feel like they were more expensive back then. Maybe it was just me, but right now, Lunchables, you can get them for $1.50. So as soon as I started making my own money and like moved out here to Austin, I just went into the grocery store and saw how cheap these were. And, I was just like loaded up on Lunchables to make, and it just, maybe $5-10, but it made me feel like a rich rock star, because as a kid, I could never have those things because I wasn't, my parents really didn't even give me an allowance. So there was no way I could even work towards providing that for myself. Even if I wanted, I just had to just go without. And that's a sucky feeling to have to do that for a couple of decades and stuff. But yeah, it's just a really, really powerful exercise that you mentioned. Just
Yeah.
keep asking why till you get to the root of it, because you'll, like I was just thinking about one of the things that Tyler likes. He likes cars. Ever since we were a kid, he wanted a Corvette. I'm sure if he keeps drilling down, there's a reason. Maybe it's because it makes the idea of a Corvette, in addition to just being fascinated by cars and technology and stuff, probably makes him feel cool because, me and Tyler, neither one of us were, I mean, maybe someone else considered us cool, but we were aware that we were not the coolest kids in school. We were kind of in the middle, which we weren't the nerds or the people that got picked on really, but we weren't the popular. We're just like right in the middle. But we were always kind of looking up at the cool kids, and we were never invited to those parties and stuff like that. So maybe, I don't know, I'm sure there's a root reason as to why that you want that, in addition to, just liking cars and stuff. It probably makes you feel cool and powerful and stuff.
For sure. Man, that's such a good, that story was such a great illustration, man. Thank you for sharing that. That's so powerful, guys. So guys, I want to just do a quick recap. It's been an amazing week for us. We have enjoyed so much that we've had the opportunity to share all these things that have shaped us, transformed us, impacted us. And day one, we talked about foundational mindset. We told a little bit about who we are, which was how we got on the journey to wanting the secrets of the wealthy. And it was all mindset instead of like do A, B, C, D, and E, and it cranks out $1 million. And then that carried us into day two about the success and abundance mindset. Yesterday, we talked about the actual strategy of just how SEO, mass SEO combined with being an affiliate and being able to promote all the products is very abundant because you don't have competition pop up when new products pop up. You have new opportunities that are popping up instead. They're not competition, they're new opportunities. And you have new keywords that pop up. They're not bad, they're good. They're new things you can target that other people aren't targeting to give you an edge. It's like the more that people try to create products, the more it benefits you. The more people are searching for products, the more it benefits you. So there's this infinitely growing ceiling and that you'll never even get close to touching or probably even seeing. And that's the strategy fits the mindset so well. And then today, of course, the power of your why. And you guys know that we told you back at the very beginning that on day 4 that we would be talking about SEO Affiliate Domination Elite. We're so excited, guys. We've been hard at work on it. We've worked very, very hard to simplify and streamline the content and strategies in it. This took a lot of work. We had to keep boiling down and boiling down and boiling down and boiling down, which is actually kind of challenging to do. Remember Einstein's 5 levels of intelligence. The highest form of intelligence is simplicity, which is actually, it can take a lot of work to make something with a lot of gears and moving parts so simple. It can be complex, but not complicated, simple. And maybe we should have called it SEOAD concentrated because that's really what it is. But the branding's not quite as awesome on that. So SEOAD Elite. Here's a quote, and I don't quite know who to give credit to because it's been said in several different ways. If I had more time, I would have written a shorter letter. Mark Twain said it this way: I didn't have time to write you a short letter, so I wrote you a long one instead. That's so true. It's hard to take something big and make it small. It's easier to talk about the whole big thing than it is to actually condense it. And so that's what we've been hard at work on. We accepted the challenge of creating a straight line from A to B with no extra or unnecessary information, simply an action plan that you should take for each step to start building sites and making money. And that's it. So it's a program as well. It's not just a course, but it's a program with all the components that you need to succeed. So we're ready to introduce to you guys SEO Affiliate Domination Elite, and to invite you guys to work directly with me and Greg over the course of the next year to start something awesome, to get the fuel that you need to get your business off the ground. And we're going to jump right in. I'm going to pull this up here. And Greg, let's see. Oh, you got to, there we go.
Oh, did you?
I added it to the stream. Perfect. Greg,
Cool.
with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for that awesome presentation. So everybody can see my screen and see this slide that says Elite on it. Can you see that?
Yes, you're good.
All right, cool. So I'm just going to walk through the program and what you're getting inside. So like Tyler said, it's called SEOAD Elite, and this is our premium program that we've put together that includes the training as well as the coaching and mentorship. So it's a very simple program. It took a lot to get it to that point because everybody that's on this call has gone through the current SEO AD program, and there's a lot of information in there. And when I first made it back 3 years ago, my kind of approach was different. I had all this information, and so I was so excited to share it, and I wanted to give like as much value as possible. So there's a lot of value in there, but there's a lot of kind of different directions. I introduce you to like backlink building and some tools there, and then like there's some mass page sites stuff in there, and then I give you some ideas for promoting different affiliate products, and then I also introduce you to some YouTube stuff, just like all these different ways to go about using the same kind of core information that revolves around the long tail keywords. And I haven't updated or really gone through the information myself until a couple of months ago, and I realized just how kind of overwhelming it might be to a beginner. But I guess my thought process back then was I wanted to get people from like newbie, beginner to like expert level. But then what I discovered, and you just learn things over the years, you learn kind of, you probably heard this quote, is like, you become a better, like you learn more about the information that you're, become a better expert by teaching and stuff. And so by getting feedback from other people and just like trying to teach other people and get people to the same level as I am with the information that I've acquired over the years, I've just learned a lot of things and realized that although there's been a lot of people that have gone through that material and made their investment back, and some folks are making thousands of dollars per week, or there's even folks out there that are making 6 figures or more per year with the information. That's awesome. What I felt going through there about the same material about a month or two ago was that it is probably overwhelming for a lot of people that are, especially the newbies, and not everybody wants to be an expert at this stuff. And I get it. I wasn't thinking about that back then. Most people probably just want the results, and I can help you get there with just a recipe. I don't have to give you a lot of context. We've mentioned kind of this illustration of a recipe. Everybody here has probably followed a recipe before, and they weren't an expert at making, whatever barbecue or casserole or chocolate chip cookies or something, probably before they followed the recipe, but you didn't have to be. You just go gather the ingredients. Someone else has spent many hours in trial and error trying to put to figuring out the exact ingredients, the exact ratio, and the exact temperature to put the oven at, and all you have to do is just follow their blueprint. So that's what we've put together in the training section. And so the first thing you're going to get is the training, and this is a lot shorter, so it's not going to be hours and hours of content. So it's basically just the instructions too. So it's just like what to do. So the videos themselves are actually very short, and what that's going to do is it's going to help you go through that information as quickly as possible, so you can implement as quickly as possible. And that's going to help you get the results as quicker. So there's the training. So you're going to get the core training. And what's also included in the training is a couple of bonus modules. So I felt it was really important to include, because I wanted to add some extra value to this training and really give you the edge that I have. So in addition to the training, which is not gonna take you very long at all to go through. And the other thing I wanted to say about the training, there's not a bunch of different directions. So we just focus on one thing, which is going to be building the mass page sites. It's not like, oh, you can do this and you can do this with the information. You can do it with YouTube, and here's how to do mass page, mass videos with the same information. I'm not going to send you in all these different directions. It's just going to be one step-by-step, process for how to execute this. And we can tweak some things that, like, kind of the part we can tweak is kind of how we direct the traffic, but you'll see that inside. But I teach one main strategy, and then I give you some alternative ways to direct that traffic once you get it with these mass page sites. But in addition to that, some bonus videos that I included were, one is these, I just call them mental models. These are, some of you may have, if you've been in the course for a while, I've shared, I think, a couple of these in the groups and sometimes on my Facebook news feed. These are just these analogies and illustrations and stories of how, just from things I've learned over the years and my own personal experience, I make sense of all this complex information, this SEO affiliate marketing stuff. And this is what really gives me my edge. This is why it's so simple for me to implement this stuff, because when I first got started and down this journey, like once it became simple for me, I remembered all the complex stuff that I was going through. And I remember at the time, I didn't even know what I was going through. Like, I remember after the fact, like years later, that I went through this private blog networking training, but it was so complicated back then. And a lot of this information, that the people that have it and the people that are doing it, first off, they don't have courses, they don't teach it. They're like super introverts, and they're just like super techie people. So they're not good at explaining it. A lot of the people, that's why there aren't courses about a lot of this stuff, because the people that are good at doing it, they're not good at teaching it. They can't communicate what they're doing, really. So it took me a very long time to gather all the pieces of this, the puzzle that I put together, and also just boil it down to its essence and like connect it to something that was familiar with me. And like, oh, it's kind of like this, mass page sites are kind of like, you probably heard me give the illustration of like hooks in the water, and that just came from a personal experience. Like, I was fishing with a friend, and she was catching these fish with just hooks. And so I was like, oh, like the pieces of content of the posts of these mass page sites are like hooks in the water. And the more hooks you have, the more fish you're going to catch. The more traffic you get, the more money you're going to make, essentially. So you're going to get a lot of those mental models, and that's just going to help give you a better foundation with this, and help make sense of this core training. So that's one bonus you're getting. You're also going to get, I just call this mindset material. There's a couple of things that I collected about a decade ago, and I've shared some of these with Tyler over the years before we ever started making lots of money online. And these were just, so I guess you could say we got kind of our mindset right. We had, we kind of figured out, some of, I guess you could say, our why, or we just kind of strengthened our mindset before we ever added on and a lot of the step-by-step how-to stuff. And so we had, I think we had mentioned this in a previous video, but if not, you'll see it inside the course. And these aren't things that I like own or anything. I just put them together because I don't think you'll ever stumble upon any of these anywhere online. I found them online over the years, but there's a couple of resources in this section that you're not even going to find them anymore because the websites aren't indexed. And I was just had the foresight to download the actual web page back in the day, and that they've just been sitting on my hard drive. And they've just these combined with the mental models is just going to make that core training more powerful, because when you understand just how I think about all this stuff with the mental models, and then you layer on top the mindset stuff, it's just crazy powerful. So if you add all that together and kind of assign a value to that, the core training alone, and this is like the simplified, cost efficient, fast way of what I figured out about 3 or 4 years ago. This is what got me from my $20,000 a year job before taxes to making over 6 figures the very next year. So I quit my job in the December of 2016, and the very next year, after all those years of struggling, and just like making a couple $100, $1,000, $2,000 on a good month here and there. The very next year, like never achieved, 6 figures before my life, just seeing all these other marketers posting their screenshots all over the, YouTube and Facebook and stuff all these years, and just kind of thinking, when's it going to happen for me? That happened the very next year, which is a pretty cool thing to be able to say just 12 months later, like the very first year. And, so, and then like, I don't know, I'll just mention this because this just popped in my head, but in 2016, I broke up with my longtime girlfriend, and then it just, I don't know, just kind of rub it in. It makes me feel good of the very next year, like the year after we split up, which I never felt I was, good enough or made enough money to like marry her or whatever, because she's from the Middle East, and her parents or dad made a whole lot more money than my parents and stuff. So I never felt like I was worthy, and literally like the very next year I was making over 6 figures. So that's pretty cool. That makes me feel good. But so she missed out, but so that's definitely worth over 6 figures, because that's what it's made me. It's made me way more than that. But just if I put the amount I make per year, that might be a little bit unrealistic for some of you guys, but I've never made less than 6 figures a year ever since I started doing what you're going to learn in this training. So, and then with the mental models, I just assigned a value of 10,000 for that, and the mindset stuff, just because those are so powerful. The mental models alone, I mean, some of those you just would never get if I didn't tell you, because a lot of those are my own personal experiences and stuff. But some of them came from me just being lucky, being in the right place at the right time, and the information that was shared with me that you're going to learn inside of those lessons was just handed down through word of mouth. You're never going to find it in a book. It's not in any other course. And when that information was shared with me, I believe it's the first and second videos of this section of the mental models, it just made everything click and come together. The SEO up until about 2013, 14, 15, it was as mysterious to me as it is maybe to you right now, and to a lot of other people. I was just felt like I was at the mercy of the algorithm or whatever, and just following all these other gurus and trying to keep up, and not even just thinking it was just one big mystery, and like, oh, we'll never, Google's so smart, we'll never really know how any of this stuff works. And once I really understood the fundamentals, which I had, somebody to explain that to me, then all this stuff clicked and came together. So you add all that up, and you're at about $120,000, that's a very conservative number, just through the amount of money this has generated for me and the amount of time it took me to acquire these secrets. So that's the first thing. You're going to get the training, and then you're also going to get the group coaching. And Tyler may have. Can you say something? I don't know if Tyler's still there.
Sorry, I was muted. I just muted because I didn't want to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you're still there. You may have some things to add on this group coaching. So,
Yeah.
So this is going to be 12 months of group coaching. So you're going to get to work with us for an entire year. And since this is at the end of the year right now, and it's, holiday season stuff, you're going to get direct access to the training directly. And so you can go through that. It's literally going to take you a day. So it's really fast, but you can be learning and implementing that stuff between now and then. And then I believe we're going to start probably the coaching the second week, I think, in January.
Second week of January. Yeah, get past the new year and everyone fitting back into, I guess, the norm or whatever.
Yeah. And so we haven't officially, we'll let you know in probably the Facebook group and stuff, the details on that when that comes, but just to kind of let you know kind of when that's going to start and stuff. It'll be at the beginning of the first year, just to give you guys time with your family and stuff. We realize this is a busy time of year. So we're not going to start that until the first part of next year. And then we haven't decided on the exact number of sessions, but there will be a couple of sessions per month, probably around one per week. And
one per week.
And it may be more, I don't know, but like I don't want to commit to something just like set in stone because we don't know exactly, but it'll probably be at least one per week. And what that comes out to, do what?
Oh, I said for sure. Yep.
Yeah. And so what that comes out to is like right now, me and Tyler are at a place where we charge about $500 to $1,000 per hour for our time if you were to hire us to mentor you. And so since we're both going to be on most of these calls, 500 times 2, just conservatively, that would be $1,000 per call times 4,000 times 12, 48,000. So you're going to get group coaching for 12 months, a whole year. So from January to December. And if you add that to the training, that comes to a total of about 168,000. And in the future, we're probably going to limit how many months this is going to be. But for you guys, we're doing 12 months. So you got, it's not going to take you that many months, especially for those of you that are going to take action immediately on this stuff.
Start getting,
way more than you're investing in this program. But it's hard for me to explain this. And in a couple of days, I think we're going to have one of my friends, Nomad Brad, on here to kind of share his feedback with working with me, because he's really, in addition to Tyler, he's really the only one that's had direct access to me the last couple of weeks and just working with me. And then also he got early access to the training, so he's going to give some feedback, and we'd like to bring him on to kind of give you his feedback in that and just what that's meant to him. Just kind of for those of you that are already in Domination Labs, you're getting a handful of pre-vetted offers every single month, and the people that are implementing those are making way more than what they're investing in that each month. So just imagine, like those are just some of the ideas I have. Those aren't. There are a lot that I haven't got around to plugging into that program. So I can just literally give you those angles and direction of how to promote those offers, and lots more offers. There's so many offers out there. And, that's why we don't mind sharing this training of how to do this, because, I can't think of everything, but I can definitely tell you where I already know the gold is. And I can show you where, not only what to do, how to dig for gold, which is the training, but kind of where to dig. And that value alone is crazy. So the coaching is meant to help you work through any kind of hangups you've got, or questions you've got with the training, which, since it's broken down into modules, the training, and they're very short, probably the way that these coaching calls are probably going to be structured is the first half we're going to address any kind of questions that people have. So, and since it's broken down into modules, we'll just be like, okay, anybody got questions with module 1? No. Module 2, module 3, module 4. And then once we get that out of the way, then we can focus on what I like to call like the fun stuff, which is the offers and the angles for how to promote that. So they'll be, kind of be broken down into 2 parts of the coaching calls. And that's one. And once you get comfortable with building the template that you're going to be building inside the training, once you build that, you just reuse it over and over again. So once you understand how those pieces fit together, then you can focus on the fun part. There's not a lot of hard work and all this, technical stuff. It doesn't use a lot of brain power, which I love. I basically like stripped out all of the sucky parts of SEO, because all that stuff was hard for me too. The backlink building, the content creation, the outsourcing of content, and just yeah, all the technical stuff. It's just, and all the, expensive stuff. It's all been stripped out. So
Yep.
one thing,
I said, yep.
yeah, and one
So,
I love, I'm excited to bring Brad on here probably in a couple of days, because I just like the language that he uses. But one of the things he said on our recent call was he bought my very first version of SEO, affiliate domination back in the day, like before the one that you guys got or got plugged into. And he said he never really went through it until much later, because he just assumed that I was doing SEO and teaching SEO the way that every other program did it. And then when he finally sat down and went through it, he was like, whoa, like he's not doing anything related to like what I thought SEO was supposed to be. So, and you guys have gotten a taste of that with SEOAD. So that is, so you're getting, does this all make sense? Hopefully I'm not kind of rambling too much, but
no, it makes perfect sense, man. It's so hard to even place numbers on something that has transformed so many people's lives. I mean, dozens of testimonials of people in the group that have earned their initial investment back, and they're building sites, and they're finding products that they're making $1,000 a week on one product off of one site, and just how do you even put a number on that? But it's absolutely the training, the coaching to get you moving in the right direction from the start. It's absolutely 12 months is a life-changing length, enough length of time for like life-changing things to happen.
Absolutely. And yeah,
It did for me. I'm living proof. Look, Greg quit his job December of 16 and had his six-figure year in 2017. I moved out here in 2017 and here I am.
Yeah, and if you could really translate these numbers, all just translate to 7 letters, which just spells out freedom. That's the most important
Amen.
part of all this stuff. Like
Come on.
whatever your number is or whatever, like and it doesn't take you, it won't take you that much to buy your freedom. For me, I only had to fill in that gap of my job, which is about $1,200 a month, and I did that pretty quickly. So that's 2 things you're getting. That's what's included in the program. And in addition to that, you also get access to a separate private Facebook group. So this is going to be, since this is a different program from SEOAD, there will be a different Facebook group associated with it. So for those of you that, you can't make every call, or you're at a job right now, maybe you got other responsibilities that maybe you can't hop on many of the calls, you can still, there's an opportunity for you to get your questions answered in the group. Yep. And we're going to be very active in that group. And we're probably, maybe even Tyler mentioned about like shooting video replies and stuff, and we may just tag you, because that's a faster way for us to communicate and get your questions answered anyway. And so like we may just, if there's 4 questions, we may just make one video, answer all of them, and tag each of you in that and stuff. And so you don't have to worry about not being able to show up on the coaching calls.
Yep.
If you can't make it because of, responsibilities, but we're obviously working towards trying to get you out of that situation. So
absolutely,
you can buy your freedom. But
and guys, if you're stuck on a technical step, and someone says, hey, this isn't working, or I had issues with this, I'll pop on, I'll go live, and I'll do it right there on the spot, and it'll be documented in the group. I mean, it's going to be coaching and support from Greg and I directly, which is just a huge component of this. Information alone, maybe it's great wisdom, but we're going to be there to help people take action, keep moving, not stop, be held accountable, all in that group. Hey, what's going on? What's happening with this? Why isn't this? Have you built a site this week? We haven't heard you speak up in a couple of weeks, and you joined our program, and we want you to succeed. What's going on? Man, I got sucked into Netflix this weekend. Cool. Awesome. You don't need to do that next weekend.
Yeah.
You want to make money, not lose it. Because if you're not making it, you're losing it. Because if you would take action, you'd be making it.
Yeah. And so to put a price on that, it's kind of hard to do that for a Facebook group. It really should be a lot more than that. And I'll explain why in a second. But, if we just add a value of $1,000. That brings the total to 169. I just want to say about, just having access to somebody who has the information that you want, you need, the answers that you need. It's ridiculously valuable, because that is one of the reasons why it took me so long to get where I'm at. It wasn't like I didn't have the money when I came out here, but I had time. And I remember many nights and weekends, I would just sit in front of my computer thinking, if I knew the answers, or even just the questions to ask to get the answers, I'm willing to work hard. I'm willing to take the action. I just didn't know what to do. And I didn't even know the questions to ask. A lot of you may be able to identify with that. When I finally figured out the questions to ask,
Yep.
the answers usually came pretty quickly. Like when I figured out the lingo of this whole world, like what is a mass page site, or, someone I saw in the group the other day, they said, what's a SS site? It's like, just stands for search shaker site. It's just like little techno babble nerd speak, in this world. But like when you learn what things are called, then you can finally, someone can point you to a resource that has that solution. But when you don't, you're just stuck. So that is invaluable. And you're going to get that on the coaching calls too, which is going to be able to directly answer those questions. But again, for those of you that, maybe you just got other responsibilities of your job or your family and stuff, at the time, whenever you think of something, just put it in the group, and we'll address those and tag you and make sure that you see those and get your questions answered, because we don't want anything to hold you back. This is a very simple process. And so unlike SEOAD, where I don't want to bash, belittle what I've put together, because it's changed a lot of people's lives, but I did give you a lot of different angles and direction. And this one is very simple and straight to the point. So I've created it, and then I went through it myself just to make sure it flowed well and stuff. And it's super short. It took me, I listened to it a little fast, and you can speed it up too, but it only took me about an hour or so to go through the whole training. So that it's very simple. So I'm very confident in the process, because I'm giving you a very clear, simple path. I'm not like, well, you can do this, here's 12 different hostings. Just pick the one that feels right to you. No, I just give you like one hosting solution, one tool to do this, one tool to do this. There aren't, we can talk about, if y'all want other ideas and suggestions, we can address those in the coaching call, but I don't want to confuse anybody in the training by giving you 12 different options. This is what's all included in the program. It's like I said, it's very simple. We don't want to overwhelm you with all this filler stuff just to make you feel, like
you've gotten value.
Yeah, it's a very simple process, and I hope that resonates with you, because you're probably found in going through other programs, you don't have that much time, and it needs to be a short, simple process. And so the training is short. And if you want the context, then you can hop on the group coaching, and we can help fill that in. We're happy to do that.
Ask questions anytime about anything, and we'll answer. But we want you to be able to go through the content and just say, okay, you're just saying, do these steps, and then do them again, and then do them again.
Yeah. And, you can maybe, you can learn a little bit more about why things work once you get results. Like, I'm sure everybody's got an experience where maybe they weren't the best at doing something, but they just had a good teacher, and they just did what the teacher said, and they got the result. And they're like, wow, I don't even feel like I'm good. I just did what the teacher said, and I got the result that they said I was going to get. Like, I'm sure everybody's got a coach story or something like that. I know I do, with, having an art teacher in high school and stuff, and just things I didn't know. And I just thought I knew more than him. And, he had way more experience. So he would just say, do this. And then he knew that I wasn't going to like disobey him. So I would follow what he said, and then I get the result, so, just trust us. We've got the result. And so we're trying to get that into your hands and get you that same result as quickly as possible.
That's right.
And so that all added up is, the value that we've assigned, even though it's more than that, just so you can wrap your head around how all that translates to these numbers that we've added this up. It comes to $169,000, which seems ridiculous, but we've backed that up and explained why that translates to that. And it's even more than that, but just to make it believable, whatever, somewhat conservative, we've trimmed that number down a little bit. Obviously, we don't expect you to have $169,000 on a card or whatever, or in your bank account that you can wire us tomorrow. So we're not going to charge you that. That's not the price of the program. But we were, and we're considering a much higher price, and we are going to be charging more for this program in the future. And in the future, this program is going to make a big leap. We're not going to do these incremental jumps. It's not going to be like 7,500 and then keep going up. It's going to, next time we do a price increase on this, it's going to be $10,000. So that's, and we feel that's extremely fair, reasonable for the value that you get inside. Just again, literally, even if we didn't give the training and stuff, just to hop on a little tandem coaching call with me and Tyler once a week for the entire year, we've already explained how that alone
would be much more than that.
48,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's what the price is going to be in the future. But this is an internal, offer.
This is especially for you guys.
Yeah, before we go public, we were going to do a public launch first, but we decided to launch it here internally to you guys first before we share it with the rest of the world. So you get this access to us first, basically, before we start sharing this in January. And so we've decided to cut that price in half. So it's just going to be $5,000, a one-time payment of $5,000. So
one time.
Yep.
For a whole
and
year.
So yep. And so to lock in your spot, you can visit SEOaffiliatedomination.com/SEOAD elite. And I'll say a couple more things, and I'll show that link a little bit more on other slides here in a minute, but I'll leave that up for a second. So it's not going to be a fancy sales page or anything. When you go there, it's basically just going to be me and Tyler welcoming you to the program and restating what I've already mentioned that's going to be included: the training, the group coaching, the Facebook group, and a button to lock in your spot and invest in it. And let's see. So I want to. Do you want to? I'm going to pass it back over to you for a second to tell the Travis Sago story. So a couple of years ago, I invested in some mentorship from a guy named Travis Sago, who is just a phenomenal,
unbelievable.
Ridiculous. Amazing. I don't even know what category to place him in, but he's really good at copywriting and just positioning offers and stuff. And I knew that I learned something about myself. I knew that was, I had like a hang up with money and charging, high ticket, unless I had paid that same amount to someone myself. And so I paid Travis 5 figures to go to this little mastermind. It was just me, Travis, and 2 other guys that paid 10 grand to be there. It was just like 2 days. And immediately leveled up because I noticed that about myself. I felt like an imposter, that I wasn't, couldn't charge higher prices until that moment. And there are a couple things that Travis said. I'll say this first, and maybe then I'll pass it over to Tyler for a second. So one thing that he said, and it took like 10 pages of notes, and haven't even implemented most of them to this day, but it doesn't, it was this, none of us, just to paint you a picture of what this entailed. It was just me, Travis, and 2 other guys about my same age sitting in a hotel room taking notes. Not one person pulled out their cell phone in 3 days, and nobody had a laptop. It was crazy. So there's no course that we selling. He was just selling kind of ideas and information and basically aha moments. You get to give you epiphanies, and he gave me a lot of them. And one thing that he said was, a lot of people, and this was me, this was my journey, and this is probably a lot of you too. If you think back of a lot of the products you've purchased in the past, when you're buying lower ticket products, you're buying for information. You're hoping that, you're wanting to get as many, video modules as you can to justify that $100 you spent. The video course to be 72 hours. You want 14 dozen bonuses. You want stuff. It's kind of, I don't know. You said this already about the 10 sales stuff about this, just kind of broke people buy stuff, middle-class people invest in liabilities, and rich people invest in assets. But it kind of reminds me of what the poor buy on payday.
Stuff.
When you're buying lower ticket products, and I know this is true for myself, I always just wanted like as much stuff as I could get for that $100. Whereas when people buy higher ticket products and invest in those, just like I did with Travis, I wasn't going there for a mountain of information. I was hoping to get one aha moment, one takeaway. And what Travis said, kind of the difference between those two types of people is the people that are investing in high ticket offers, they invest, they're looking for not information, they're looking for transformation.
Man.
So
it's just so true.
It's a completely different approach. And we're not trying to load you down with, hours and hours of information. Just, this is, while we may share some more value, like we've shared on these last couple calls on the group coaching calls, we're here to get you the result as quickly as possible. We want you to transform your bank account, transform your life as quickly as possible. We're not trying to slow you down by saying, hey, you got to go through all these dozen modules. We'll see you in a couple of months when you finally make it through.
Dead weight, man.
That's what slows people down. So, and then I'm going to pass it over to Tyler for a second for him to explain another thing that Travis shared with me about how much, a lot of people don't think about how much, when they look at the price of a program or investment, how much it's actually costing them to not move forward, to not invest in.
Yes. Man, look, here's the deal, guys. If you know you could be making $5,000 a month and you're not, that's $60,000 a year, and you've got a $60,000 a year problem. That's huge. And a lot of times we just don't think about it like that. We almost just get comfortable with where we are, and we just think one day it's going to happen. One day it's going to be great. But the truth is, if you're not making $5,000 a month and you're in this community and you see people doing it every day all around you and you're not, you have a $60,000 a year problem. This program was born to solve that problem. And here's the thing. When you're just in a course, it's up to you to make it work. The information is there, but you've got to filter it out. You've got to be diligent and consistent to take the action. You've got to tap into that why. You've got to hold yourself accountable. You've got to push to get there. This program brings in the other side of the coin, the coaching, the support, the accountability. That's huge. To couple with the information, to get you moving and keep you moving, to get you to making that much money a month and beyond. And so we are just so excited to launch it, to do it. We've opened it up to you guys first at an incredible price. And thank you guys even for sticking with us on this live to this point. We're so thrilled and excited to announce it. And I want to end with a story. Now, Greg, I don't want to say anything.
I've got a little bit more, but say what you're going to say.
Yeah. Greg, who was it that sent this email?
So I don't read a lot of emails, and I don't watch a lot of I don't follow a lot of people actively and stuff. This email that Tyler's going to read, it came from Alex Sharfin, who actually also lives here in Austin, Texas. And he's actually he's a I don't know how much he's worth, but tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. But billionaires pay him to mentor them for
Yep.
all the mindset stuff. And
Yep.
this was an email. I just happened to be on his email list. This came through. I just happened to click it, maybe because of the headline, and read it. And this story is actually from Sean Stevenson, I believe. And when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, like this helps me so much in like positioning offers and stuff. Cause I always, you know, we'll get to that after the story, but like in the beginning, just, I want to help everybody with this information, but it's not, I just have to make peace with myself that it's not for everybody. And we can only, you know, help the people that, that want to be helped. So Tyler, you can share that story.
I'm just going to read it because it's so perfectly written that I could not improve upon this in any way. Friend, as much as you might want to, you can't save everyone. If you try, you will only end up drowning yourself. With that said, I want to share a story with you, one that my friend Sean Stevenson shared with me and thousands of other entrepreneurs at Funnel Hacking Live back in 2016. If you've ever heard Sean speak, you already know how powerful this keynote was. I walked out of that room with a new perspective on business and life. And after hearing this, I think you will too. Let's dive into it. During a segment of Sean's speech, he shared the Coast Guard's model. He said it saved him from quitting speaking when he considered giving it all up. Get ready. This story is a powerful one. Picture this. It's a stormy night. Lightning bolts are slashing through the dark sky. The wind is ferocious, making the water angry. The air is cold, the type that leaves goosebumps on your arms and chills down your spine. Amidst this, a boat gets capsized in Mother Nature's path of destruction. So the Coast Guard goes out to rescue it. They load up their men in the helicopter and locate the boat. But once they hover over the top of the boat, they realize something. There are more people in the water than there is space in the helicopter. So what do? Who do they save? Who would you save? I know it's a tough answer, but realistically, they can't save everyone. It's not possible. So they decide who to save based on a motto. Can you guess what it is? Their motto is this: we can only save the people who swim towards us. That makes the nearly impossible decision now possible. Now, I want you to think about this in terms of your life and your business. Not only your business, everything in your life. I know you want to serve and help everyone, but it's not possible. Just like the Coast Guard, you can only help the people who swim towards you. The moment you try to help someone and they push you back, you have to stop. If they're flailing around or swimming away from you, you can't help them. Accept it. They don't want your help. Maybe they aren't ready, and that's okay. Hopefully, they swim towards you at some point. But if they don't, the helicopter, aka you, has to leave. Trying to help people that don't want your help is the quickest way for you to drown. And if you drown, what's going to happen to all the other people swimming towards you that need your help? Think about it. Going forward, focus on the people swimming towards you. Don't chase the others. Open your arms and give the people who want your help everything that you have. Get excited about them. That momentum becomes infectious. You can't save everyone, so focus on the people you can save. When you're ready, swim towards us. We're here to help you. Guys, that is a little bit heavy, just like earlier, but of the utmost of importance and the utmost of truth.
Yeah, we're basically the Coast Guard in this analogy, and we want to help people. Like I wanted to. It took me so long to gather these pieces, and in the beginning, I felt a little bit like an imposter when I was selling information products, because I'm not that great at selling, and I don't desire to ever really get too much better at that skill. I'm good at teaching and I'm good at doing. And I was kind of tempted to just kind of stay in my little hermit hole and keep this to myself. But Tyler was the one. You can thank Tyler later for kind of pulling, you know, or whatever, pushing me to put together this product. and this next version, because it takes, I don't know if any of you have ever created a product. It takes a lot of time and effort to just think about all the things and then strip out all the things that are not necessarily essential for people to get results. To just like boil it down to the recipe that I've created in this course. And just another thing, like, we're passionate about this information because it's transformed our lives, and we want that for other people. Obviously, we want everybody to do this same thing, but not everybody is interested in, just what we do. I get it if they're not interested in like SEO or affiliate marketing. We try to make it as simple as possible and strip out all the hard, boring technical aspects of it, because I get that not everybody wants to be a master at this, and you don't have to be with this process. And there's lots of other ways to make money online, and just accept that. And you just have to find something that resonates with you. Another thing I want to say is that, even though this process is infinitely scalable, which is why we're even, put this program together and even sharing it. I'm sure many of you have invested in other products in the past where you just felt like the fear and scarcity around it. Like, oh gosh, I hope I'm not too late. I hope, now I'm not too late to the Kindle, game or whatever, or I'm not too late to Facebook ads, or not too late to YouTube ads before they change everything. You're not too late. This is something that's a very abundant process. How I do SEO, it's not how you will learn in any other course. That's why it's so abundant. And we can afford to share this with as many people as possible, just because of what we shared in the previous video about your true competition. Just there's nobody doing this stuff, and just to multiply that by the amount of offers there are out there. So there's nobody doing this process, and there's nobody doing that process for most all of the offers. Like, they're outside of the handful of people in this training that are doing this process for those particular offers. But there is a little bit of I forget where I was going with this, but like, me and Tyler are not going to be providing this program our time forever and ever. This is a limited thing. We may even only do it next year, and we're probably going to transition to something else. We don't know what that's going to be yet. And
it's true.
That's why people, these kind of like the old heads, the old marketing gods and stuff, the John Reeses and stuff, they had their time and they're still doing very well, but they're not kind of in the limelight anymore. They just quietly make their millions. They just sort of go away. And that I'm an introvert. Tyler's like a hybrid. He's an introvert, but he likes to present and do these presentations and stuff. So, but I am perfectly content, being anonymous. I like to tell people I want to be, some people say they want to be rich and famous. I say I want to be rich and anonymous. And some of you may identify to that. So this is an abundant process, but this is a limited opportunity to work with me and Tyler. That's what I want to communicate, because just kind of piggybacking off the life, the Coast Guard story, we can only help so many people.
That's right. That's just true. We only have our 24 hours in a day, and we're only able to give that to so many people, and that's just true. We're only going to be able to do that for so long before we're going to move on to other things in our lives and our businesses and things like that. So but we're so excited to be doing this. We just believe that after the roller coaster that 2020 has been, it has been all over the place. It's been a mixture of probably great and horrible for so many people. It's just the weirdest, most indescribable cocktail of a year ever. And so we want to hit 2021 and help people make it the best year yet. And we cannot wait to do this. And so we're so excited. We're so pumped. We've shared this story. We've shared so much from this past week. And guys, just one last thought. I'm a pretty blunt person, and not much for sugarcoating. The most successful people in this world invest in themselves, and they never stop investing. As they grow, they invest more in themselves, not less. And you can spend the next decade, decade and a half on the same journey that Greg and I have been on for the last decade and a half, or you can get it all in a course boiled down to its essence and get us to help you do it. And you can do it next year instead of figure it out next decade.
Yeah, you can choose the fast lane.
Choose the fast lane.
And seriously, not that is how people get ahead faster. They pay people money, which is coaches and mentors and stuff, which that money will just replenish. And what you learn for that investment will help cancel out all of that investment and stuff. And it's kind of hard to see before you make that investment. But like with the Travis Sago example, when I paid him 10 grand, I didn't know what I was going to learn, but I knew whatever it was going to help me make that back. And I don't have a lot of these stories to share, but about 2 weeks after that live, that mastermind, I made all of my money back plus some profit with one tip out of the 10 pages of notes that he gave me. I just implemented one little tip, and I made like at least twice my money back, which is crazy. So I was right, and I knew I was gonna get that there. And I going in, I didn't know what it was. I just went with an open mind, and I knew that there were other people that were, doing, the things getting the results that I wanted. I didn't know how, and that's what I figured out how to do when I went there. You just level up. I do want to mention this though. This is like I said, it's a pretty simple program we put together, but I did want to offer a pretty cool bonus. So that's not all. And just to kind of push you guys, the first couple people to take action. Some of you are probably already in. I don't have it pulled up right now, so some of you may already be in. So that's cool. But for those of you that are going to think about this over the next couple of days, I want to push some of you guys to take action, because you already probably know in your gut whether this is right for you or not. You don't really need 24 hours to think it over or talk to your spouse. I think I was telling Tyler, or maybe I was talking to Brad about this the other day. Like everybody's able to find all the time and the money that they want to do the things they want in life. When you say you don't have enough time, it's just because you don't really want to do that. But if you want to do it, you always make time. And same way with money. If
you want it, you'll find a way to buy it, period. Every time. Yeah.
You always find a way. And if you don't really want to do it, you'll find an excuse. So we want to give you a bonus to kind of push you over the edge. This is a pretty cool one. One that I haven't shared with anybody. It's been sitting on my hard drive now for 3 years. I may have shared it with Tyler at one point, but I haven't shared it or sold it. It's kind of kept it to myself. So this is a fast action bonus for the first 10 people that decide to invest in SEOAD Elite. So there's the link again, just SEOaffiliatedomination.com/elite. And you'll see a little blurb of this on that page too. I call this the Millionaire Minute. It's pretty cool. It's got a story behind it. So it's literally just a 1 and 30-second clip that I've just been holding on to. And man, it's just the people that can communicate something like clearly and in a very concise manner, just blows my mind. And and so in a 1 and 30 seconds, Gregory Ortiz, who I mentioned earlier, the one with the penthouse and stuff in Miami, we joined OMG Machines, which is a very high ticket SEO community a couple of years ago, back in 2013. So we joined about the same time. And he went kind of the client route. Most people in that community do the client SEO route. And it took me a little longer because I had limited financial resources, and I was trying to build up the affiliate side of things. But in the fall of 2016, in the OMG Facebook group, Gregory was posting some ClickBank screenshots, and he was making he had made $50,000. And I was like, what? it's one thing. Oh, and he did it with SEO, and it's one thing to make a lot of money with ClickBank. I've seen, real screenshots and stuff. I know friends that make lots of money with ClickBank products, but they usually do it with like email lists and stuff or paid ads. And I couldn't wrap my head around like how he was selling those products with SEO. Like what I hadn't figured out, I don't think, my long tail keyword strategy yet, and that angle, and just like how you would grab that traffic. And so the first ClickFunnels event I went to was in I think, January or February of 2017, and Gregory was there. And so I saw him, and this is the first time I met him, but we knew who each other was just because we're in the same group and stuff. So I knew him, and apparently he knew me and stuff. I think I was maybe sharing some stuff in the group. So I walked up to him and I was like, man, like a couple of months ago, I saw in the group, you shared that screenshot and you had made like $50,000 from a ClickBank and like SEO. Like, how did you do it? And he was like, oh, I made a lot more than that. That was like an old screenshot. He said, yeah. And he just pulled up his phone and like logged into ClickBank and refreshed it right there in front of me. And so, can't fake that. And I may have get my memories a little bit fuzzy, but I'm pretty sure he made over 300K that year, that in 2016. And so that number, that screenshot that I had seen was way off. And he had made a lot more money. And I was like, holy shit, like 300K again from like ClickBank and SEO, what the hell? And then he in your paychecks little settings, he went to that page and showed me. He was like, oh yeah, and like I'm kind of on track to make like 30,000 a month this year too. And I can't remember what month the Funnel Hacking Live fell on in 2017. I think it was like January or February. So whatever he showed me kind of just painted the picture that he was making about $1,000 a day still, because he was making around 30,000 a month and it was going up. And I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, and that's, if you've never been to live events, that's one of the advantages of going, because you can just kind of corner people, and usually, they're not going to lie and bullshit you, and they'll just tell you the truth, especially if like they're your friends and stuff. And Gregory and I were acquaintances, and most people have an abundance mindset. So he was like, he said, I'm not doing anything that you don't already know how to do, man. He's like, it's pretty simple. He said, whenever I leave here, I'll shoot you a quick message on Facebook or whatever. And I was like, I hope he does. And he did. And when I got home, he had shot me this little voice message on Facebook Messenger. So they're limited to like a minute, on your mobile phone. So there was 2 that I pieced together, and it was 1 minute and 30 seconds. And he shared exactly what he did in 1 minute and 30 seconds. And it was something that I was already familiar with, but it was just to kind of give you guys a little hint, clue, for those of you that have been in SEO for a while. It's something that you probably already know if you've been through other courses. It's something that courses used to teach back in the day, but nobody really talks about anymore. But I think I've mentioned this, hinted at this, some of the calls this week. A lot of the stuff that worked back then never stopped working. It still works. It's just we sort of forgot about it. We assumed that Google changed or the algorithm changed or whatever. No, Greg was just doing something that I already knew, and it was the simplest, like cheapest process ever. And he was like, actually, I don't even do it. He said, I got a VA that creates these, and she just cranks them out. And like he said, yeah, you'll learn the strategy. It's only a minute, but I'm going to give that to the first 10 people, and that is like hard, number. Cut that off at 10. Just out of respect for you guys, this is a little bit of a scarcity to get you to move and take action. But the 10 is because there's only 10 positions on page 1, so I don't want to, I just want to respect the guys that are going to take action and be the first 10 people. I don't want to, I just don't feel comfortable saying, oh, it's limited to 10 and I give it to 50 people. That's just unfair. And so for the first 10 people, you're going to get that as a bonus. And to stack that with everything else that's already included in the program, I had to trim this down a little bit, because it was what I saw it produce, I just shaved that in half a couple of times. So that alone is a 6-figure per year strategy. And I saw I saw his screenshot right in front of me, and that was over 300K, and he was on track to make over 300K the next year too. So, but just to make it a little bit more believable, I trimmed it down to 100,000, and that's profit. That's net after the expenses of this strategy. So if you add all those all together, it comes down to $269,000, which is ridiculous, but that's a real number, unlike some of these inflated stacks that you see on other webinars.
Yeah.
So again, this is what you're getting in the program, SEOAD Elite. You get the training, which I'm super proud that, I've shaved this down to just very concise training, and literally is only going to take you about an hour or so to go through it. And you can even speed those up. If you're like me, I like to listen to YouTube videos and audiobooks and stuff a little bit faster, in like 1.25 or 1.5, and you can do that. And we don't promise that it won't sound like a chipmunk even at that speed. And you can speed that up. And then the bonuses with the training, the mental models and the mindset, those are very concise too. Usually it only takes a couple of minutes for me to explain each one of those, and those are going to be really powerful for you. So you get that. You also get the group coaching, which is invaluable, and then the Facebook on top of that. So because there's some things that you may you may not feel comfortable sharing on the group coaching call. For those of you that show up and stuff, we may even ping certain things like privately perhaps, but Facebook group, basically you get access to us. We ideally don't want to do a lot of email, honestly, because we kind of practice what we preach. We want to have like this passive income lifestyle.
Sure.
Outside of helping you. We don't have like a support help desk system or anything like that, and we don't really plan on having. We have our own lives, just like you guys got busy lives too. But you can use those to the group and the group coaching to get your questions answered, so that you won't be stuck, and that's invaluable. And then for the first 10 people that invest in this, and you'll get access to that Millionaire Minute, and that's not something that's included in the course and the training that you'll find. I'm going to just individually email those to each of those, the first 10 people, and that is well over 6 figures. And crazy, because like if you stack what that strategy that Greg Ortiz is going to share with you, if you stack that with the mass page sites, you can kind of have this compounding effect. So they work together. So you can do them separately or together, and it's just so simple. And you add that all together, almost 300,000, and you're getting it for a one-time price of just $5,000. And I want to say this, you can see this on the page as well. I don't have a slide of this, but for those of you to kind of help some of you out that may not have this all on one card, I get that. There was a time in my life when I didn't have that high limit on credit cards, but I had several cards, and so I could split it. And so if that's your situation, you have the amount, you just don't have it on one card. We can accommodate you. So just reach out to us. To our email, you'll see it on the offer page, SEO affiliate domination @gmail.com, and just let us know your situation. Let us know how you want to split it up. If you want to do 2 and 3, 1 and 4, 2,500 and 2,500, however you want to do that, we can accommodate you. But it's the one-time price of $5,000, and then there's the link to go get it, SEOaffiliatedomination.com/SEOAD Elite.
That's it. And guys, the cart's only going to be open for a few days. Our time and resources are limited, and so we're opening this up to you guys at this price. And in the future, it's either going to be a higher price for the same thing, or it's going to be less coaching for this price. But you guys are getting by far the best offer on this. And next year, we're going to take it public and take it a much bigger launch. And so, but you guys will already be in and we'll be able to help you directly make 2021 amazing, better than any year before, for some of you by a landslide. I mean, Greg went from 20K a year at a full-time job to over 100K a year at home. That is a quantum leap in quality of life. And we have, and I've been through the same experience. And
yeah, and just to give, without revealing numbers, because we're not flashy people. If you haven't figured that out by now, we don't like to brag. I don't want really too many of my friends, really no family members, don't want the government seeing how much I make, how much I really make. I'll show them on taxes, but that's, may or may not be the, whole picture. We've got a good accountant, so we don't pay a lot of taxes. But what was I going to say? Dang it. I lost my thought. You again.
It's all good. No, man, that's it. We're people. We're fine. Like Greg said, this is personal.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Pulling you into a system and then really outsourcing it. Just we're not trying to take our hands off of helping you. We're actually inviting you in to the opportunity for us to put our hands on the wheel with you and help you. And that's huge. And so the cart's going to be open for a few days. We're going to be going live tomorrow. Go ahead. Greg, go ahead.
What I was going to say is just like without revealing specific numbers. So the first year I was doing this, I crossed 6 figures. So it wasn't just like 100,001 either. It was I crossed that pretty way more than 100,000. The next year I doubled it. So just to kind of give you some context of there, whatever, like what happened the next year and the next year and the next year. So like it's a very kind of like compounding effect. So I didn't have to remake 100,000 the next year because of some of the things that I was promoting were recurring. And so the next year I just stacked more earnings on what I was already making. And this was like 95% all through SEO, all the stuff for teaching. And so just to give you a little here, you can just double in your mind what 100-ish thousand, what that is doubled. And then, just imagine yourself doing that each year. And this isn't us working 40 hours a week at all or anything. Like we don't actually work too much on building these sites and stuff anymore. Because once you build some momentum, you kind of, it doesn't take very much at all to really, honestly, not anything to maintain it. And yeah, so like if we would have kept being super duper aggressive, we would probably be making lots more. But I took like about the same time that it was taking off for me, I decided to start helping other people. That's when I came up with my course. I was like, oh, it'd be good. I did to share this with other people because it was so frustrating, the journey to get this information. And then when I got it, I just felt like I had this, this big giant magic pearl or whatever that I just want to share that with the world. And it's kind of frustrating when, kind of going back to the Coast Guard story, I want to help everybody, but even I say this is a process that can help anybody, but it's not for everybody. And I hate that, but it's the truth. It may not resonate with your personality or whatever. And I get that. It's frustrating because I'm like, oh, I can help so many people. And it's one of those rare skill sets that actually provides that ideal, time, freedom, passive income, lifestyle, internet, make money online, laptop thingy that you're sold in all those sales videos. There's very few strategies out there that can meet that criteria to give you that lifestyle. A lot of those screenshots that you see of those Shopify guys and stuff, they're not making as much money as you think. And those are gross sales. Those don't account for refunds and chargebacks and the customer support headaches and the profit margins. I can tell you the last job I was working at, we were doing e-com, and it gave me some insight into what we do in the affiliate world, especially selling digital products. And I used to be frustrated that I had to give PayPal 2.9% plus like a 30-cent transaction fee, which means we keep like 98%. And I was frustrated about that 2% I had to give them. our profit margins in the physical product space, in our e-com space, started, and this was if we were selling on our website, and they went down from here, started at about 32% and went down from there. So, so if we were selling in the marketplaces, which would get us more traffic and sales like Amazon and eBay, they took 15%. So our profit margin on those started at 15 and went down from there. So they were running their entire business off of about 9% profit margin, which is ridiculous, because we've got it the opposite. We are keeping 90% in our world. And in the affiliate space, it's even better. You know, we may be getting 50%, but it's 50% like, you know, kind of free and clear minus a couple of little expenses. We don't have employees. You know, we don't have a lot of overhead. We don't have customer support and stuff. Thank goodness. We just promote this stuff, and we're very liquid, and we can pivot really quickly and stuff. So really powerful stuff here. Extremely lucrative skill you're learning inside, and we're excited to share this with you and get you, you know, give you what you need to get to where we are, basically, and help you get there too. Because you know, it takes a special kind of person to get to where we are with just information. There's lots of testimonials of people that have gone through the course, but there are some people that don't succeed, not because of the complexity of the information. They just need to speak to someone one time. They need to get one question answered. And if they get that answered, everything becomes clear. And that's what we want to be able to do for you guys. So
that's it, man. Guys, the cart's going to be open for a few days. We're going to go live tomorrow again at 11 Central Standard Time, just like we have been. We've got some more stuff for you. Over the weekend, I'm probably going to pop on and share a couple of the things that we ran out of time to share the other days. And possibly, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, just before we forget, while we're still live and stuff, if you guys got any kind of specific question or anything you can think of, I know we're going to cover a lot of those probably tomorrow, but type that in the comments below. We'll address those tomorrow, because you know we're only going to be able to address the things that we can think of, but you can help us by commenting below. If you've got specific questions about maybe something in the course or whatever, or I don't know, just some kind of objection or thing that is preventing you from hitting that, you know, button to lock in your spot. We want to work with you in this coming year. And so we don't want anything holding you back. We want to get your questions answered. So you can help us, you know, shape and craft the content for tomorrow, and we can address those, and we'll tag you in that video. So if we address something, you know, we understand Facebook is really noisy and stuff. So we'll tag you if we answer your questions, so you can just see where in that video, and maybe we'll say like where in the video and stuff. But we'll address those. So if you've got any questions or concerns or about anything,
that's right,
that we've said here today, then leave it and we're happy to address it tomorrow.
It's been a journey, and we're excited to share it with you, and we're excited to join it with those of you in SEOAD Elite next year. It's going to be awesome. I think we're going to sign off for the day, but we'll be live at 11 a.m. I'm going to share tomorrow. And then over the weekend, I'm going to share a couple of illustrations that I didn't get to share on the mindset days that just mind-blowingly transformative concepts. And so we'll see you guys then. Awesome. Greg and Tyler signing off for today.